In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through week 4 of my most recent training block. This is my 4th training block in my powerlifting off season. My most recent powerlifting competition was at just shy of 9 months postpartum. I'm now 12 months postpartum. But I'm going to be talking about some of the mistakes that I made early on in my fitness journey and some just overall general training program principles that I would recommend that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Also, let me know what are some things that you wish you knew when you started out on your fitness journey. Hopefully help some people out in the comment section below it. Anyways, let's just hop right into the video. Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to another YouTube video. It is week 4. So the heaviest week of my current training block. I just did my top set on my secondary squat day, 6 reps at 200 pounds. Let's just hop into the rest of the workout. So the biggest mistake that you could possibly make when starting out on your lifting journey, and I was definitely guilty of this at the beginning, is not being on a lifting program. If you are not on a lifting program, how are you going to know how you're getting stronger every week? Yes, you can keep a mental record of it, but eventually you're going to get to a point where you can't lift heavier than you did the week before. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to keep burning yourself out and keep trying to rep that same weight that you've been trying to do, add more reps with that same weight, and just push yourself to the utter brink of failure every single week until you can do it? Or are you going to have times where you deload, times where you peak, times where you're in volume phases, times where you're in strength phases, times where you're in a peaking block? You need to be periodizing your training, and if you're not on a lifting program, that's the biggest downfall. My daughter just woke up from her nap, but I finished my 3x8 back off on safety bar Hatfield squats. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my accessories at the commercial gym so that I can take her to daycare and I will be able to get through it really fast without interruptions. But really exciting. I got 7 reps at 275 pounds. I've never even hit that for 1 rep on a comp squat, so squats are definitely getting stronger. I'm going to take you through the rest of my workout week, like the highlights for the rest of this video, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Mistake number 2 is going to be programming way too many exercises in a given training day. For example, on that last leg day that you saw, I had 5 exercises. So after my squats, I had 3 lower body accessories and I had 1 core accessory. Old me, like way back, like 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, that's not working hard enough. You need to be doing 10 exercises every single day. But really, how are you going to approach each of those accessories with the appropriate intensity? You're not. I can tell you that when I was doing, single leg press, both leg press, lunges, RDLs, split squats, all of the things, I was not approaching them with the appropriate intensity versus if you just say, okay, I'm going to squat, and then after I squat, I'm going to do RDLs, I'm going to do split squats, and I'm going to do 1 core exercise, or even just I'm going to squat and then I'm going to do split squats, but I'm going to be approaching them with the appropriate intensity, and then I'm going to be able to progress and actually put the appropriate amount of focus into each of those back off sets. There's no way that you're going to be actually appropriately pushing yourself if you're doing way too many exercises. And the third biggest mistake that I would recommend staying away from at all costs when you're starting on your lifting journey is making sure that you are approaching each set, each exercise with the appropriate intensity. So like I said, not overloading your workouts with too many exercises, but how hard are you going to push each given exercise in a training day? So your top sets, like this is my top set, for example. I had 1 set of 3 at 145, and then this was my second set. I only did 2 reps at 145, and then I had 4 sets of 3 back off at 135 pounds. So my top sets were at RP 8 to 9, and my back off sets were at RP 6 to 7, and this was week 4. So this was when I was going the heaviest that I did the entire training block. Week 1 was like RP 5 to 6 range for every single set. This was also week 4, where I'm doing 3 reps at 315 pounds on deadlift, RP 8, and then my back offs, 3 sets of 5 at 285 were RP 6. So making sure that your top sets, those are your focus. That is where you're going the highest RPE. Your back off should be much speedier, much faster. Even if you're in week 4, your back offs should be more focusing on solidifying the movement pattern, getting into more volume work. And then when you're going down to your accessories, that's when you are probably pushing your RP a little bit higher because you're not taxing your overall entire nervous system as much. Like, for example, if you're doing a tricep extension or a lat pull down, you're not working your entire body, you're working specific isolated muscle groups.
So that's where you can kind of keep it more consistent throughout the training block. RP 7 to 8 range is usually pretty good, leaving 2 to 3 reps left in the tank for all those exercises that aren't going to be as taxing, but like I said, not overkilling your accessories. You don't want to do 10 bajillion exercises after you finish your main lift. There are definitely a lot more mistakes that I made early on in my fitness journey that I could name, but those are the top 3. Not being on a lifting program, programming way too many exercises in a given training day, or not appropriately gauging how hard you should push each exercise, whether that be your compound lifts or your accessories. But anyways, that's all for today's YouTube video. This is medium grip bench, by the way, so I had 4 reps at 135 pounds, and this was my back off 3 sets of 5 at 120. Overall, it was a really solid training block. Really enjoyed it. Made a lot of slight progress. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.